You're from Scotland, I'm from Northern Ireland, and here we are standing in Dharamshala about to meet the Dalai Lama today. Are you okay?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, still there?
Check. My sort of closest friend, and not only friend, I consider my hero.
Right, so what is it you need now, Derry?
Well, just the usual, a few shirts.
I've got some of your lighter shirts here anyway, so we can pack those in. I've got your talking.
In 1972, aged only 10, Richard Moore was struck in the face by a rubber bullet and permanently blinded by a British soldier. Astonishingly, his terrible experience has never turned to anger or bitterness.
Most of my adult life, really, I began to think about the soldier that shot me. I began to wonder who he was, where he was, did he ever think about me? And eventually I found out the soldier's name, and his name's Charles, and that was around 2005. And I went to Scotland on my own in 2006, where I met him on a hotel foyer there.
I've got the little Indian phrase book.
Yes, I don't think that looked as though it's going to be very helpful.
Well, we'll never know, it might work.
And
Bit of Indian money which will keep
put
separate.
that in
Keep it separate. If I had the gift that none of us have, not one single human being in my view has, the gift of foresight, I would not have done what I did.
It was the 4th of May 1972. The Craigin estate was, I suppose, in the thick of the Troubles. It was a no-go area in those days. It was 4 months after Bloody Sunday, so it was a pretty volatile period of time in our history. I remember it was a nice, sunny, pleasant afternoon, and I got out of school and ran up through the football pitch of St Joseph's Secondary School, which was right beside my primary school. And as I ran past an army lookout post, a soldier fired a rubber bullet. It struck me in the bridge of the nose. I lost my right eye, was left completely blind in my left eye.
I can't give him back his sight. I can't undo what had happened. I never, in my wildest dreams, foresaw a situation where I would have actually caused him such horrific injuries.
To sit opposite the guy that blinded me for life and caused all the hurt to me and my family that the shit dancing brought about. And to like him was an incredible experience, and sort of him and I have now remained friends. We've been in each other's company quite a lot. We are going to India together to meet the Dalai Lama.
Richard met the Dalai Lama for the first time when he came to Belfast in October 2000 to attend a peace conference. The Derry man was part of a delegation of victims and survivors of violence during the Troubles who were introduced to His Holiness. This is where a true friendship began. The Tibetan leader was then the special guest at the 10th anniversary of Children in Crossfire, a charity Richard set up to help children caught up in conflict around the world. During this visit, the Dalai Lama met Richard together with Charles, the soldier who blinded him. It was then that His Holiness invited them both to his home in Dharamshala, northern India, where he has lived in exile for the last 50 years.
I feel I have a very special relationship with the Dalai Lama, and the place he seems to hold me in, or the esteem that he holds me in, or whatever, I just sometimes can't fathom it. I can't drink it. I can't fully appreciate it. And it's just very special. And to come to Dharamshala, where the Tibetan people are living in exile, and to kind of share that space, it's just a wonderful experience. bottom line is, if I sit today and I talk about the incident of being shot on the 4th of May 1972 and all of that sort of stuff, and I try to resolve that issue with charges, I don't think we're going to go anywhere. Because we can't fix it. We can only accept that it happened, accept that each other have a view on it, and then try to move on and use our experience together in a positive way. And I think that's what the Dalai Lama sees in us.
If you said 5 years ago to me, could I envisage a situation where I'd be sitting next to Richard in a hotel in Delhi? The answer is most certainly no.
Oh, hello, Charles.
Good to see you, eh?
Good to see you as well.
A bit warmer here than Scotland, I can tell you that.
Or Derry.
A bit warmer.
Have a seat there. Yeah. It's 3 years since the Dalai Lama was in Derry when we first met him.
Was it really?
Yeah, 3 years. 2007. You know, I kind of feel he's part of what me and you's about now, in a way. You know, it's me and you, of course, but I also, you know, think it's just, you know, the Dalai Lama is almost part of the triangle now. It's quite significant for me, anyway, reflecting on it. I suppose it's a beautiful experience for me and you to be able to come out and actually meet the Dalai Lama in his home place. I think he would value very much where you and I have come from and where we're going to, in a sense, you know, and just the fact that the relationship and the friendship still continued and that sort of thing.
Close by the city of Dharamshala in northern India is a village famous for being home to the Dalai Lama. MacLeod Ganji is where the Tibetan spiritual leader set up residence after he fled his homeland over 50 years ago. His presence has attracted around 100,000 Tibetan exiles who live in the surrounding area.
There don't seem to be many tourists because it's quite early, it's only about 9 o'clock. So everyone went down at 7 a.m. Prayers with the Dalai Lama for the earthquake victims in Tibet, they've just said.
Yeah. I could hear them at 5 o'clock this morning.
Walking past.
Walking past, doing the chant as well. Just well after 5, at 5:30, I could hear the monks doing their chant and walking past the place where we were staying.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, and you must have been sleeping.
Our alarm went off at 6, and then I started hearing everything. Yeah, so it's packed with people. That's why we're going so slowly now. There's everyone's around the car walking back. It's a really narrow road. It can only fit, you know, one car and people on either side. Then there's a steep drop down the mountainside.
We're on our right?
On the right, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a little car park here for one car.
The Tibetan Children's Village is home to around 2,500 children from the age of 5 to 18. Many of their parents are dead or in jail. Others could not afford to accompany their children over the Himalayas in order to escape the Chinese regime.
Very small. Yeah. Thank you.
The Dalai Lama wants Richard and Charles to tell the Tibetan children their story of forgiveness.
I never forget that he's a Dalai Lama. And that's what makes it so unique and so enormous and so spiritual, because, you know, he's a Dalai Lama.
I'm here. Yeah. Hello.
Oh.
How are you?
Hi, I'm fantastic. How are you, Your Holiness? Thank you for having me here. Thank you for your welcome. I'm so delighted. Hey, are you okay?
Yes, okay.
Yeah, okay. Still there?
Check.
Still there? Yeah, good. Thank you. Do you need to do anything? Okay, am I following you?
Yes.
Let's go. I mean, he's a world leader. And there are very few world leaders, I think, that are so human and have that ability to reach at a very ordinary level to somebody like me, whilst on the other hand he can meet with presidents, prime ministers, and meet at that level too. And the thing is, I have witnessed him in both situations almost, and he's the same person, but what he has is totally transferable at any level. And I think that's what makes him special.
Our beloved leader, His Holiness, you have personally come to introduce our guest of honor today, whom you fondly call your best friend and my hero, a wonderful son of humanity. A most extraordinary personality, Mr. Richard Moore. Please welcome him with a thunderous applause.
When we met in Ireland, Northern Ireland, I expressed my wish one day you come to my place here, and out of your deep friendship, you come here. Thank you very much.
His Holiness came to Derry 10 years ago, and he invited me here. I didn't think he meant it. I thought it was just a nice thing to say. But I didn't let him forget it. When I told His Holiness about my blindness, he said, "You have great insight. You may not be able to see, but you see better than someone with eyesight." I then asked him if he would tell my wife that. He met my wife and children, and he did tease me that he could see them and I couldn't. And he said how beautiful they were. But what concerned me even more, my wife said he was beautiful. So I am a little bit jealous. I am not the only person that suffered as a result of being shot.
I was totally responsible for the security of a police station, and at this police station we'd had a lot of trouble during that day, and the fairly normal reaction of dealing with this was to use a gun that fired a rubber bullet. But from the second I fired that rubber bullet gun, the normality ceased. There was nothing normal whatsoever in the outcome. The outcome was simply tragic, and very quickly I was made aware that I had blinded a small boy of 10. I was absolutely appalled, shocked, devastated. And I had a great feeling of grief and a great feeling of sadness. And this stayed with me for very many years.
There are times in my life when blindness has been a challenge. Despite all of that, I have never had a moment's anger about what happened to me. When I met Charles, I remembered the words of His Holiness. He said, "Forgiveness is a gift to yourself." And if Charles wants my forgiveness, he has it. But that is not what is important. What is important for me is I forgive him in here. I always say, you can take away someone's eyesight, but you can't take away their vision. I would say to the children here today, you have a vision. Please keep that vision and work towards that vision. And when you have a leader like him, then you don't need any more inspiration. He is my inspiration. When I'm tired, when I'm on my own, I think of His Holiness. You're my best friend, Your Holiness. Thank you so much. certainly makes Northern Ireland, seem small really when you travel away to places like this here. You just think, well, there's so much else going on in the world, so many different cultures.
No, that's very true. Very true.
In an extraordinary act of forgiveness, Derry man Richard Moore has travelled to Dharamshala in northern India with the soldier who blinded him 38 years ago. Today they will have a private audience with His Holiness the Dalai Lama.
On our right-hand side, Richard, we've got I'll just turn you around here. There's a gentleman going past a whole load of prayer wheels.
All right,
and
okay.
they're spinning prayer wheels.
Prayer wheels, yeah.
I'm not quite sure, how many times you're supposed to spin the thing round, but anyway.
I think there's normally 7 in a row or something. I certainly never thought a few years ago, I'm sure you didn't either, that me and you would be standing at that.
I don't believe it, actually. not believe it, no.
God, when you think of where sometimes life leads us in terms of the troubles and the whole incident, and then, you're from Scotland, I'm from Northern Ireland, and here we are standing in Dharamshala about to meet the Dalai Lama today again, and it's just, it's an interesting twist in our respective journeys,
Yesterday's public audience has drawn widespread attention, and they're approached by many people with their own story to tell. Among them Hans, a Norwegian soldier who is haunted by the memories of his peacekeeping mission in Kosovo.
Yeah, I was deeply emotional by your speech yesterday. I watched the speeches on the television down in the schoolyard, and it suddenly all came up to me again. I've done peacekeeping missions in Kosovo, and I've hurt women and children with grenades.
And where was this?
In Kosovo. And one lady the grenade landed on her pillow while she was sleeping, and she was about to die right there, and she was carried to the hospital by an ambulance, and I don't know
what happened. But your intention wasn't to kill some poor woman.
No.
I mean, that was.
I also think that when you throw a grenade, you must be aware of the consequences. When you can't throw a grenade into a house without being aware of the consequences. But what's important is that you realise that. And in your mind, I think you've got to try and reconcile that. I don't think, you can shroud everything, every action that you do with the view that you meant to do the right thing. I was in Kosovo myself with groups who are dealing with that very issue, in terms of trying to bring people together, that some people have been the victims of awful violence and other people have been the perpetrators, and it has helped, and it will help you as well,
Thank you. Yeah, it meant a lot to me.
Thank you so much, and please keep in touch. Are you looking forward to meeting His Holiness today?
I'm certainly looking forward to it. It's going to be slightly less formal than the last time. We don't have 2,500 other people standing with us or looking at being in the same place. So it'll be very nice to have a private talk with him, and a chance to actually go into his inner sanctum, as it were, and really see what the setup is there. Will be fantastic.
I think that's one of those situations where he's in no hurry. That's what's fantastic.
Well, put it this way, in which case we will have certainly been seeing him longer than Mr. Bush, Mr. Blair.
Well, you're right.
One of my wish materialized since I met you. I consider my hero now.
Thank you.
I had the opportunity, now my hero, welcome here, my own second home, last 50 years. So, I'm very, very happy.
You may be aware that I sent a letter to ask if you would do Children in Crossfire the honour of becoming our patron.
Okay. Yes? I feel, firstly, your work is wonderful, and secondly, as they're asking by one of my sort of closest friend, and not only friend, I consider my hero. So there's no other way. accept sort of acceptance of that.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Well,
And then you should give me high salary.
name your price. That's fantastic. Well, that's
Thank you.
brilliant. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Thank you.
So much.
I want to donate 50,000 pounds sterling to your organization, Children in Crossfire, for the exemplary work you are doing, particularly to protect and promote the rights of some of the world's most vulnerable children. So this money actually is a royalty, my book. When I start writing these books, I never thought about money. But eventually some royalty, some money come. So that gives me more enthusiasm to write more books.
Your Holiness, can I just say I'm deeply moved by this here. I didn't expect any of this. I just wanted to come and see you because I realise that I am in a very privileged position with you, and I value that so much.
Sometimes when I talk just a word, he through action they demonstrate these things. So therefore since we become friends, then I develop the wish to bring to Dharamshala, welcome to Dharamshala, and at least let Tibetan children know about his actual experiences. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I think Charles and I are on a journey. I wouldn't pretend that we have it sussed, let's say. You know, some things Charles would say, or the way he says them, would, you know, I have to try to understand them, try to understand where he's coming from.
We made a journey together, and that journey continues. And indeed, the Dalai Lama has his view on it is that we're people who show that these things can happen.
I don't think the journey with me and Charles will ever finish, and I think it's an important journey that I want to continue with Charles at a one-to-one or a personal level. You know, because that is challenging for me, and what I'm hopefully trying to do is, through sharing my story, people can see there is another way.